If your brand is spending on media and content, but you can't fully explain where your growth is coming from or why a chunk of your conversions keep showing up as direct traffic with no clear source, this episode was made for you. Today, we're breaking down what happens when a brand deliberately walks away from public social at the exact moment it could have had maximum visibility and why Reddit may be the single most underestimated variable in your attribution data right now. I'm Barika Phillips Bell, one of the 3 co-founders of B3 Media Solutions.
And I'm Sarah Booth, Senior Digital Analyst here at B3.
And I'm Taylor Smith. I am the Social Media Manager here at B3 and a Junior Analyst.
And welcome to B3 ByteSized, where we break down real-time social moments, strategic insights brands can use. Together, we represent 3 generations, Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z, bringing diverse perspectives to our analysis of digital trends and insight.
And in each episode, we'll break down the latest in data, culture, tech, media, and sound bites that are shaping our digital landscape.
And this month, we are celebrating a milestone. It is our 10th episode of
Woo!
Exciting.
That's exciting. I'm excited.
Okay. What you got for us, Sarah?
All right. So for this episode's quick bite, we are going to take a deep dive into what was trending around the Lays, no game.
Yeah.
So to give a little bit more context, with the 2026 FIFA World Cup underway, brand activations were everywhere, but most of them were noise. And Lays is doing something structurally different. Rather than competing for attention in public social feeds, they built a private WhatsApp group with Messi, David Beckham, Thierry Henry, Alexia Putellos, and Steve Carell. And this chat had already surpassed 4 million members. They're calling the strategy scaled intimacy. And it's worth unpacking why that phrase matters for any brand thinking about where community is headed.
I love it. Let's get into it.
So one of the key elements that we wanted to highlight right now and discuss and bring up was the, difference, or specifically private channel as media strategy. And so Lays moved the fan experience off of public social, as we typically would see, and into WhatsApp, a platform where brands don't control reach, algorithms don't govern distribution, and every message lands in a personal inbox. So that is top level. Do we want to get into this, or should I highlight some more key things?
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for me personally, I had no idea about this. I didn't see it in, traditional social media, if you want to call it that now. But which is interesting because, quite honestly, I'm not the target audience for this. I don't watch FIFA, I don't watch soccer, football. So I could care less, quite honestly. Do I know who David Beckham is and Messi? Yes, of course, because there's just some names that you hear about and they are gonna, forever exist in the realm of trending, trending digital topics. So I found it interesting. I think it was really smart because this is a global event. It is a global sport, and WhatsApp is a globally used, app. I know about it because I have family, in Morocco who we communicate with through there, and they don't typically have iMessage or iPhone. So this is a way of, means of communication. So it makes sense to me. I never thought of it as a marketing tool. So it's kind of interesting to kind of dive into how Lays, went about it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I think this was a really smart campaign. I loved putting this together because, I've been really interested in this community branding thing that's been happening. A lot of people don't know about it, but the people who are doing it well are doing it super well, right?
Yeah.
So I think even in terms of this specifically, to your point, Sarah, you have this world audience. Maybe we didn't know about it, but 4 million people did. In our WhatsApp group, right? And so kind of just having this celebrity-led content, right? Like Steve Carell and the soccer players, not a match that you would think would happen, right? But still having the celebrity-led content, but also making it personal and a personal experience to the people who want to be there, want to be involved, having these people in the group chat, sending memes, and then pairing that with an actual commercial, right? Because it is very they basically created an experience out of the commercial. The commercial very much highlights anybody who has Lays in their bag, which was also in real time, by the way. So they invited those people in real time if they had a bag of Lays in their grocery bag.
That's pretty cool.
Having that.
That's pretty cool.
Is that not insane?
That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Oh much, right? Creating experiences for people out and about who are random, right? But then also pairing like, okay, here's the commercial, here's what we did for these people, but also here's what we are going to do for you as well to participate in the experience. And we're going to simulate that. And we're not just going to be like, well, these people got to come and do the Lay's thing, and like you get to watch them do that, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that's like a broader conversation that we've been having, is like getting the brands, especially the ones that we work with, to involve people into like actual engagement, because I think we're past the point of like watching. You want to interact, you want to engage. And so what Lay's did really well is bringing people into the world. And I think one of the things that we were thinking about is like, can you do this if you didn't have Messi, if you didn't have some of the Beckham, the top names in the sport? Because like I don't watch FIFA. I don't like football, but like, can you do this without even having a celebrity leading it?
You can. You can. I think it's so interesting because, to the point of WhatsApp, what was smart was them using WhatsApp, because we're talking about the World Cup, right? Like that.
Right.
So this platform, this messaging platform that is very specifically meant to cause communication around the world with ease. That's the part that was smart.
Yeah.
This is accessible to other people though, right? Like you have Substack, you have Reddit, you have Snapchat, you have Instagram broadcast, you have X communities, you have Threads. Like every platform right now is offering some level of like a community based communication. I think that they used it very smartly. They used their specific one, right? But it's about tailoring it to what you have going on, what it is that you're trying to communicate, what audience you have, right? So I don't think that it's necessarily the messy of it all, even though that's great and that's really cool. And I think that's like, obviously you want to like be in a group chat. So
with Messi. Right.
Like I want to be in a group chat with Messi. I want to be in a group chat with my faves or whatever, the celebrities that I admire. But I don't think that it is not replicable. I think that it is about having your specific audience and understanding where they are, number one. And then catering to what it is they want to see.
Yeah,
I agree, because I'm in a WhatsApp with Trend Hunter, and so like every other day or so we get new trends of like cool things that are happening all over the world, and other analysts are like, that's really cool, like how does that apply to X brand? So there's just like analysts or trend analysts that are talking, and it's a community just around that. So what they did really well was just take the community aspect of WhatsApp and did it on a scaled intimacy. It's scaled intimacy, but it doesn't feel like it, because just 4 million people, whatever. But they did a great job of creating another place where people could commune about a specific topic that they were all interested in, that they all love. And so that was really, to me, the like the key nuance that they did that, we haven't seen another brand do yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't agree more.
Yeah. So do you think that people are moving away from public social because of that?
I mean, yes and no. Because I mean, I guess it how do we define public social, right? Like, I think that's question number one, because do you consider subreddits public social? Do you consider Reddit public social? Because to me, it's like, if we are able to easily access this information and our content, then what makes it any different from if it was posted on TikTok, Facebook, or the other than the algorithm, and then these little parameters that are obviously in place across these different platforms. So I don't necessarily think it's going away. I think people are always going to continue to use the TikTok, the Instagram, Snapchat, etc. But I do think they're like that communal aspect that Taylor touches on. Like, people are craving that, and they're going to continue to crave it. And if they can find other places and their favorite brands and or sports teams or whatever are going there, then yes, they're going to follow suit, because that's where they want to be. Like, that's where they're at. And so they're like, well, why not? So I think they can both coexist. That is my perspective.
Yeah.
And
I 100% agree that they can both. And I think they are both coexisting, to the point of this entire brand strategy. It started with a commercial. Like, they, you know what I mean? Like, they did not stray away from doing the traditional, we have a commercial in place to promote Lay's. They just added to the experience using social in a different and creative way. I don't think it's necessarily straying from it. To your point, Sarah, Reddit is social. I don't think I would have considered WhatsApp social maybe until now, but to the point of places having Instagram broadcasts, Substack, like we can go down the list of all these places where you can be in very small communities and it still be on social. So I think that it's just creatively finding a way to merge the two. But I don't think that they completely rid of traditional marketing and ads. I think they just added on to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's to me, it's the same thing as like Facebook Messenger. Like they could have done it on Facebook Messenger, but
Well,
you know, WhatsApp.
I was going to say, doesn't Meta own WhatsApp? So
yeah, they do. But
yeah,
they do. Yes.
So
they do.
It is a social tool. Like it is. Like I think it's public, and you just said it. You just compared it to Facebook Messenger. So I do think they serve a similar purpose. It's just a different app.
It's just a different app. Yeah.
Right.
And the engagement, like that, I guess people are going to be having conversations, liking things, you know, like share, you know, that part of it is still there. So you still can get like, but I think what they did that was smart is they have this captive audience with data just about that thing, and they own that now. It's like having your own email list of people that you can communicate to and market to and talk to. So that to me is the real gold mine of kind of like what they've created.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I did not think about that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about what Lay's is actually doing. They're making a deliberate trade. They're giving up category discoverability on public channels in exchange for direct relationship depth in a private one with their audience. And that is the real strategic trade-off, as we've discussed here. And it's one of the 6 visibility signals we use when we audit a brand's public market presence.
All right, y'all. Speaking of ways to be visible, the perfect game for this episode.
Oh, I'm excited.
It's game time. It's game time.
Game time. Okay. We've been doing good on the game. So
yeah.
It's game time. It is time to compete. Not that we're that competitive, but we be a little competitive. It is time to compete. Learning how to be visible, right, is
right.
one thing. And then what happens when you are visible is another. Is a completely different and maybe simultaneously the same thing. So we are going to play scroll or skip. Okay.
Oh, that sounds
Scroll
fun.
or skip. Okay.
Scroll or skip. Okay. You guys will both answer after a brief discussion, and there will be 5 rounds. And so this is how we're defining it. Scroll means that the brand got what it was going for once it was visible. Skip means that it completely backfired. So we are just making sure that we know that like something can have lots of views. That does not mean it was a scroll, because this does not mean that the brand got what they wanted in the end. Right?
Got it.
Okay.
Round 5 will be a wager round. So that will be based on how confident you are in your answer. It will be either 0, I'm not confident. 1, regularly confident, I'll take 1 point. And 2, I literally got this. Give me the 2 points. Okay? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go through the first one, and then you guys will tell me if it was a scroll or it was a skip. Okay? Okay, so Swatch, the iconic Swiss watchmaker, launches a new editorial campaign for their Essentials collection. It's a fashion-forward photo shoot, clean aesthetic, global rollout. The centerpiece image features an Asian model, and it's posted across all social platforms. Prestige brand, high production value. That's all you guys can know. This is the photo. Was it a scroll or was it a skip? And please feel free to discuss briefly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, discuss, like, get more information from you about the campaign.
No, that's all I'm giving you.
Okay,
this is the visual.
So no platform specific, like none of that. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm going
it was posted across all platforms though.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so do we say 0, 1, 2, or do we say
no? We say scroll or skip.
Scroll or skip.
Okay.
If you get it right, you get 1 point, and then we'll do the wager at the end.
I have mine.
Okay, me too.
All right. Well, you want to go, Brika? Go ahead.
I'm gonna skip.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip also.
Okay. Any reasons why?
I mean, this is like personal. I always I start with my personal opinion, then I go with what I actually know about the brand. I don't know much about Swatch, and this does not seem engaging or entertaining at all to me. I can't see it performing well across any platform, quite honestly, but I'm going based off what I know.
And, I grew up with Swatch watches, and it was a thing in the day, like when I was a kid, but, like, I don't even know, like, he's got a watch. I don't care. Like, I don't like, why is he like, I don't
Trying to put myself in the consumer. Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me with this, and it's I don't get it. So
Okay. It was a skip. Okay, so the reason it was a skip, though, they did not get what they were going for, and they pulled the campaign. They apologized publicly, and that was because of the visuals of having somebody of Asian descent pull their eyes back in the main.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, you know what? That wasn't the first thing that I noticed.
I was looking at the watch.
I was just wondering. I thought maybe he had a headache or something. I was just like,
Hey. So this, of course, was noticed, and Swatch actually has storefronts, brick and mortars in
yes.
China, and so they were not happy. So -4%. That was the Swatch Group stock drop following the launch campaign. China sales declined -7%. And that was the most critical in the market. And then the campaign was pulled globally within days, and there was a formal apology issued in Chinese and English. So it absolutely was a skip. They did not get what they were going for. But it is interesting because these are the type of things that are so demographic.
Yeah.
That you might notice.
Obviously somebody did not prove, like, if you were going to launch that, nobody like looked at, I mean, just off GP, if it had been anybody, I don't know if I would have liked it.
Sure.
Because of like what they were doing, because I just don't see how that ties. Like, you needed a clever way to show you the watch, but like this wasn't it.
Right. 100%. I agree. Okay.
All right.
Next one. What is the call? Red Lobster, the chain that became a national punchline after going bankrupt over endless shrimp, emerged from Chapter 11 in 2024. They appointed a new CEO, Mola Adamolkun. So sorry if I mispronounced your name. He starts posting on TikTok himself, reading the comment section, responding to podcasters who joke about the brand, announcing new menu items directly on camera. So there was no agency, there was no campaign. It just was a CEO showing up on social, which is something we've discussed quite a few times.
Yes, we have.
Was it a scroll or was it a skip?
It's a scroll.
See, it's a scroll because I just think it definitely. I've seen him. And he was one of the CEOs that definitely got the assignment and understood he injects energy and youth into the brand, because Red Lobster was like a place that my parents would go to. Like that was the good restaurant that you would go to like on special occasions. And so it really had been a dying brand. So I'm going to go with Scroll.
Yep, Scroll for me as well.
2 for 2. So there was a year-over-year increase in average transaction size in Q3. There was actually a rise in visits, which I think is a conversation we have a lot.
Yeah.
That's a question we continuously ask. Like, is this actually driving sales?
Visit, yes.
So there was consistent gains in average monthly visits since June of 2024, and there was $0 spent on paid media. The CEO just hopped on and did his thing. So we see that Red Lobster got exactly what it was that they were going for. So the CEO became a part of the content. It was cheap, it was effective, and the brand recovery play in 2024 did not come from an agency. It came from one person showing up, which is what we just talked about, showing up on TikTok and treating his customers like a community.
And not a commodity.
And not a commodity. Are we listening, people? Are we listening? So yes, this was a scroll. You guys are 2 for 2.
Doing good so far.
Okay. This one is surrounding Brita, the water filter brand that your mom has on her account. I actually have my Brita on my counter right now. They launched a TikTok strategy built entirely around chaos. So anime filters, surreal monologues about thirst, a lo-fi original song called At Least I'm Hydrated, released on streaming platforms. And the content looks like it was made by a sleep-deprived 19-year-old, not a legacy home brand. Roll or a skip?
I'm going to say skip because I do not see how this aligns with their target audience if it really is the moms of it all, and then maybe your generation, Taylor. But like, Taylor, you're a little, I think, ahead of a lot of people respectfully in your generation. But
yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't see the alignment, so I would say skip.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Is that okay, Brita, it's just a regular product, but like we have seen all these random like candy, different brands kind of doing things like this, and it's just like really off of like what we've seen. So I am going and my like Jai, like he has a Brita in college. So I'm going to say scroll only because I feel like they were trying to get to the college people, not necessarily the moms who would have this in their house.
But the moms that would buy it for their college students.
Yeah, or the mom. Yeah, I feel like it would be like the other way around where the kid's like, hey, mom, can you give me a Brita filter if they did this well?
Got it. That's valid. Okay. Let's see. Who's right?
Let's see. Oh, we're split. Somebody's going to get another point.
Right?
You're so stupid.
Scroll.
Wow, good job, Rika.
Roll.
I drink the Brita water. I feel like I'm drowning.
No.
Well, the only reason why I said that is because Jai and he's a college student, and I'm like, you got a Brita filter? So like on his own, he got that, and so I was like, well, if they did it on TikTok, it must be targeted to a younger generation who's going to school, and they're the ones that are fueling the increase or the views.
Now that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. And so to that point, there was the biggest jump in brand familiarity of any home care brand, and that was a part of the Harris poll. And then there was 1.1 million likes on a single video, 3.3 million views, 11 million total account likes for Brita. And then the At Least I'm Hydrated did release on Spotify and Apple Music as an actual track. So Brita did get exactly what they were going for.
Wow.
And it being a 40-year-old product in the same aisle, it became the fastest growing home care brand in familiarity. And that was without changing the product at all, which I think is really cool about this. And this is why I wanted to include this one, because I feel like I've been thinking a lot about like, for example, like Monopoly. I'm like, do you change Monopoly or do you change the branding for Monopoly? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that have such longevity, like how do those type of brands play in this space where it's like, you're not going to necessarily change it. How do you reach new people?
Yeah. It's like what Stanley did. Stanley and even Crocs. Like they both were able to rebrand, repurpose an older brand. Unfortunately, Tupperware was not in that number. But they were all able to change their brand and kind of target it to a new audience. And, you know, they did a great job of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to that point, the only thing that they changed was their strategy and willing to be weird online and
willing to be weird.
So willing to be little weirdos. So that was a scroll. Great job, Barika. So now we have it 2-3. So
okay.
Still anybody's game.
It's still anybody's game.
Okay, so the brand on this one is going to be hidden. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? If you can guess the brand, I'll give you an extra point.
Okay.
So we'll do whether it's a scroll or a skip, and then if you can guess the brand, that will be 2 points. So a major tech company released a 60-second ad. It was a hydraulic press slowly crushing a collection of objects, a grand piano, a trumpet, guitars, cameras, books, paint cans, and arcade machines. And all of it compresses into a thin slab. And the message is that this device contains everything. So the tagline is the most powerful device ever. Who is the brand? And was this a scroll or a skip?
I kind of want to say initial thought is ChatGPT. I don't know why. Even though I saw the word device, that's kind of what I want to go with.
Okay.
And then I want to say it was a scroll. I'm just gonna go for that.
Barika.
Okay.
This one's a little toughy.
Barika did look lost. Like, hold on.
I don't know who the brand is. And I'm gonna say skip.
Okay. That's it.
That's all I got.
That's fine. Okay. The brand was Apple, and this was a skip. So
why was that Apple though? Because it has like garage music and stuff and all that.
So
like why?
Everything into an iPad.
Oh.
So they're saying all of these things you can have right here in this little thin slab of metal, which is an iPad.
So that was bad.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah,
So
like that was bad. Like, I
60
didn't even understand, like, what would a
Well,
tech company, like,
they
crush
got
it
they
like
got backlash.
yes.
We'll let you get into it.
mad
Taylor.
backlash. They got mad backlash.
Tell us.
But I can see why you would think it was ChatGPT, because after this backlash, I can totally understand it's the destruction of the human experience.
Literally,
I'm saying, like, it's taking all the stuff and putting it into one.
Yeah, exactly. And so essentially to say, right, that all of these things that are the human experience, art, paint, anything that you can do outside of technology, which we're already being bombarded with in a way.
Right. Right.
And to say, replace all of those things with this thin slab of metal, which is an iPad, is why the viewers were very upset. And it was, so those 60 million views in 2 weeks, but to the point, that does not make something a scroll. It was pulled, actually. So Apple pulled the campaign entirely off of TV, and Apple VP of marketing publicly stated, "We missed the mark." And then there was backlash, including from literally Hugh Grant, who said the destruction of the human experience, and working directors and creatives, the exact audience Apple needed, were outraged. So we saw that 60 million views and a brand apology can absolutely happen at the same time, right? So reach
Reach is not an outcome.
Is not respected by fewer when putting out this ad. And so that is why it was a skip.
And I could see that, because when you look at, like, where we're going with technology, like, people are trying to go back to, like, nostalgia, to lo-fi. And so for you to, like, for a tech brand to emphasize the techiness, it's just kind of like, no, that's not what we want. Like, how do we stop this? So I can tell, like, I think brands don't always read the temperature of, like, where people are. And so I get that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right. Let's see what's next.
That was this one. Sarah, you said scroll and chat. Okay, so only 1 point. Rika, you get the 1 point. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I didn't know the name.
Last one.
Double down.
Double down. So in this one, this is where you'll wager. If you're not confident at all, you will get 0 points, regardless of whether you get it right or wrong. If you are confident, if you get it right, you will get the 1 point. And then if you are double confident and you get it right, you will get the 2 points. Okay. Bumble, one of the biggest names in dating apps, launches an outdoor digital campaign in 2024. The 4B movement is gaining cultural momentum, women opting out of dating and relationships as a feminist stance. Bumble's campaign directly challenges the trend with messaging that pushes back on the idea of swearing off dating. So bold creative, high visibility placements, and a major platform taking a public cultural position. And so, for example, they said things like, "You know full well a vow celibacy is not the answer, and thou shalt not give up on dating and become a nun." Was this a scroll or a skip, and what are you wagering?
Skip, and I'll do 2 points.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm also going to do skip and 2 points.
Okay.
Let's see.
It was a skip.
Yeah, because, like,
and you know why we know this is because this was an analysis.
This was an analysis that is coming up. It's going to lead us right into our next segment, right? Because the campaign was pulled within days of the launch following immediate widespread backlash. They issued an apology. "We made a mistake," Bumble's official Instagram statement, and they donated to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And then, of course, the audience that they alienated was their own, which is women. That is the point of Bumble, is that women. It is a women-first dating app. So the women and the 4B movement spoke to it directly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. They did not get what they were going for with this one, y'all.
Right.
Yeah. And to that point, there was a version of this that works, right? Which is the version of choice, the version of what women are looking for, which is celebrating women who choose the things on their own terms. Like, if I become a nun, I'm going to do that. And if I don't want to, then I'm glad you can celebrate that as well, right?
Exactly.
They definitely did something extremely bold, and it did backfire, and it ended up being a skip.
Yeah, I really like that like you said, there was a version of this that could have worked really well, and that would have served them. And I really wish they would have found that, because to come out that strong. And it was very clever. It just wasn't like, it's another instance of not reading the room of like, how are women really going to feel when it's about women empowerment. And this was like you're telling me I can't do these things, yeah.
Yep.
Great game,
Womp
Taylor.
womp.
That was fun.
Game.
Oh, yeah.
Let me.
Good job.
Great job, Bruce. And that was
Thank you.
It was great.
That was fun. You guys have the best games. I don't know how I'm gonna like compete. Like, I'm like, well, I gotta come up with a good game for next time.
Yes.
I gotta like bring it, because like Sarah, you like these were good games.
We're getting better and better.
Yes, the games are awesome.
The games are good.
So, okay. I want to start with this question. Your brand has been running paid media for the last 12 months in clicks and conversions like carefully, and you still have a percentage of traffic that's showing up as direct with no clear source. Have you ever looked at Reddit as a variable? Yeah, most brands haven't. And that's why we're going to get into Reddit, untracked influence layer, and our brands even taking a peek at it, because brand teams don't, and that gap is really costing them money more than they realize, because Reddit has 116 daily active users, like 116 million daily active users, and 443 million weekly active users, and it's been growing at 19.3% year over year. Now, after that algorithm overhaul that they did in September 2025, the average ROAS on Reddit jumped from 2.3 times to 4.7 across most verticals, and the majority of marketing budgets still treat it like an afterthought or a PR risk or a platform they just simply don't understand. So the bigger problem that we're seeing is this: Reddit is influencing purchase decisions whether your brand is there or not. And customers are typing your product name followed by the word Reddit into Google specifically because they don't trust brand produced content. And that conversation is happening in public in real time. And most brands have no idea what's being said or how it's shaping their number. And what I want to pull out is this is really about two problems that we are seeing at B3 consistently in the market: brands that have data but can't interpret it, and brands spending heavily on media and content, but they can't explain where the growth is actually come from. And Reddit, to me, sits at the center of both. So my question to you guys is that what are the brands that you've seen that we've talked about that are getting it right, and what are the brands that are getting it wrong, and why are they, like, I really want to get into why they are getting it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any brands you guys can think of, or like?
I have my favorite, actually, because like I said, I've been in on this conversation because I think it's a really interesting one, especially as we continue to talk about people pulling away from traditional marketing, which is a bidet brand. You guys, you know,
I'm sorry, Tushy.
Which is a bidet brand. One of my favorite examples. They didn't even create, because Oatly as well, I can talk about Oatly, who did a Ask Me Anything, and very successful, but under their own subreddit. It was an Oatly subreddit. What I love about what Tushy did is they did not create their own subreddit. They went to the bidet subreddit, because there is a bidet subreddit.
Because there's a subreddit for everything.
Because there's a subreddit for everything, and there are people who are extremely interested in bidets and who are already talking about bidets. And they went into this subreddit, posted a very extremely hilarious picture of them. The social media manager, she's like dressed like a butthole, and she posted it with a sign, a little makeshift sign that said, "Ask me anything about bidets." And here come the people who are already talking about bidets, asking her anything about bidets, and now be getting this awareness, right, about Tushy.
Yeah,
interesting.
So that's one of my favorites.
You have to show that picture, because I
absolutely will. I feel like I showed the picture. Like, literally, y'all have to see this, because this person came onto the internet. Spend, most likely the spend is coming from her working at Tushy, right?
Right.
The sign was handwritten. She might have spent on the butt hat, but
and probably
Amazon. I'm sure Amazon had,
right? No spend otherwise. Just, hey, you guys are already talking about this. I know about this. Y'all want to ask me about this? And they did.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. I
Nope.
love that. I think also one of my favorite brands, and I think we've talked about this on previous episodes, is Dove, right? Because Dove's whole campaign was taking the good, the bad, and the ugly from Reddit and using that in their campaign to showcase the message. And
Right.
is right in line with being transparent, being real. And I love the fact that, they recognize that they have things that are good about their product and things that are bad about their product, things that people have questions about their product, and they showcase it all, like the women that they share in their like Real Women Are Beautiful campaign. So I think that they are also a brand that are looking at Reddit, using that information and trying to connect with the human versus looking at it and trying to sell you a product.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nope. And I think all brands should follow suit, honestly. It's like,
Yeah,
you said it, like it costs little to nothing except your marketing team's time, but like they're doing the work anyway. So have them jump on to Reddit and figure out, where are these conversations happening and
exactly.
how can they increase their visibility there and or, social listening there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
'Cause the conversations really are already being had. And I think that is the most important. I think we talked about, well, we haven't talked about, but we brought up Nissan as an example, as an ask me anything that can go wrong. Because I've all the ask me anythings I've seen have been great. That one went completely wrong, right? They brought the CEO, which is up and down. We saw the Red Lobster of it all, right? It can go well, but it can also go very poorly. McDonald's, we're looking at you.
Yes.
So they brought the CEO on to do an Ask Me Anything within the Reddit space. And a lot of the people realized that the people responding or the people asking the questions were bot like. They didn't have really much history.
Mhm.
So to that point, Reddit is a cutthroat space. Those people
It
are not
is.
there. They are not playing, and they're not there to be sold to by brands. They're there to be sold to or responded to by community.
Right.
And they want to know that their community is behind a product or a suggestion, not that the person who obviously would be selling it to you is going to be selling it to you there.
Well, to that, let's talk about who got it wrong. Who got it wrong in your mind or opinion,
Nissan.
Brika?
Well, she said Nissan, but I also think that I've seen a number of brands that will get on to Reddit and they don't have, real accounts. They just are there to like seed information. And so brands that are posing as like regular users, just seeding those positive mentions, Reddit community sniffs that out like so quickly and will grill them. And it like they're cooked instantly because it doesn't just damage your thread. They take it, they archive it, they screenshot it, and then they share it across the platform. So it's that important to make sure that you don't take it from a fake grassroots, like let's just get on and try and do this because it's not going to work. We can sniff it out. The people on Reddit sniff it out easily. And I think the other thing is that brands that I've seen do wrong, they treat it like it's just like every other platform. So rather than looking at it like, Reddit is a very specific thing and understanding the nuances and how the community works, the etiquette. And I think they are very transparent about like, this is the etiquette, you know? Um, Instead of treating it like other platforms, you have to really understand how to use Reddit and how users see it and how to integrate yourself into that community rather than trying to do it like LinkedIn or Instagram or anything like that. So those are the things that I think is definitely a major issue
Absolutely.
of brands and their failures on the platform.
Fully agree.
But I think that one of the questions that I have, and this ties directly to our brand visibility diagnostic, if customers are targeting or Googling your brand name and then looking for Reddit, um, how do you think that that should then change a brand's thinking about reputation management? Or even if it is a blind spot for a brand because they're not even, Reddit's not even on their radar.
I mean, I think especially with and to the point of the brand visibility diagnostic, right? We look at Google, we look at SEO, we look at AEO. And a lot of that, and what brands need to understand, is a lot of information is coming from text-based social media platforms, right? It's there's an involvement in like a few things maybe from Instagram, but even when we do our own reporting, if we're looking for verbatims, if we're looking for what people are saying, we are looking at Reddit, we're looking at X, and then we're scouring through posts that are already had on Instagram. But the place to be visible and searchable is going to be on a text-based platform. So if you don't even know what's being said about your brand on said text-based platform, right? How is it that you can understand what other people are being fed about the brand? And then
and your competitors, your competitors for that matter.
100%. Yeah. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
And Sarah, I guess for a brand that actually wants to build like legitimate Reddit presence in 2026, like what do you think that they should start? Like what does showing up on Reddit look like for them?
Well, I think I'm gonna steal a page out of, Taylor's book from her example with the Tush brand and bidet. And just like finding that person on your team, whoever that person might be, it could be the CEO, it could be the marketing manager, whoever is trusting, and getting them on the platform and getting them to engage organically. Like you don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel, and as far as like the campaigning or activation part of it goes. It's just getting on there and showing up and then trying to figure out how you kind of fit in terms of like the conversation that's already being had amongst your audience and consumers. So I think that would be the place. And then of course, treating it how it's supposed to be treated. Reddit is a social platform. I view it as a social platform just like TikTok or Instagram, but I do think it has to be targeted a different way. So
exactly. I mean, and definitely that platform, like we have tools, like we use Quid, and it does give us metrics on things like engagements on Reddit and how upvotes, downvote, like all of that plays into the part of it. But kind of measuring success on the platform, what do you think that looks like? Because I feel like one thing that no one ever says is the transparency of it. And so if you're able to pull off a campaign on Reddit and people are like, they don't realize it's a campaign or it's integrated into it and they feel like they've gotten the information of it, then that is a success in and of itself. But are there any other things that you can think of that would help show a brand is successful on the platform?
Well, yeah, I mean, you touched on it. We do use Quid for our reporting for some, our clients, and some of the things that we do see across the board is consumers actively discussing about the latest product drops, the latest, campaign announcements or releases, and if they're talking about it in a positive way, that's to me a great thing for the brand. Like, doesn't necessarily brand has to engage with it or even like acknowledge that they know about it, but it just shows that you're being talked about by the right people in the right places. And I think that needs to be hopefully a part of your social listening, strategy moving forward. And if it's not, talk to us about it, because we're really starting to find that Reddit is a place that needs to be actively monitored across the board, no matter what industry you're working in. Again, like Taylor said, if you're not even aware of what the conversations are, then you don't know where to look and you're just completely blindsided. And that obviously is not helpful. So I think that's another way to measure the success.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. I can't say it any better. I think
so. I think that was key. So just here's the B3 read on this. And Reddit is not a media channel your brand chooses to enter. It is a reputation system that is already running with or without you. And it has been running for your brand, about your brand, with or without your participation. And that's key because in almost, like you said, Sarah, in almost every audit that we run, we find companies that have strong paid media performance sitting on top of Reddit conversations that they have not even read. In some cases, those conversations are actively working against the conversion rates that the brand is trying to improve. improve. And we help to surface that, because the gap between what your analytics dashboard shows and what Reddit is doing to your brand is your brand's credibility is almost always wider than what the team expects. And the brands that understand that aren't just monitoring Reddit. They're treating it as an intelligence layer, a place where unfiltered buyer sentiment lives, where objections get named before they ever reach a sales call, and where category authority gets built or eroded in public, one thread at a time. So hopefully, if you walked away with this episode thinking about one thing, let it be this. The brands flying blind on Reddit aren't flying blind because the data isn't there. They're flying blind because nobody on your team is looking at it.
So just to recap, on today's episode 10 of ByteSized. Today we broke down Lay's bold bet on scaled intimacy through their World Cup WhatsApp campaign and what that strategic trade-off signals about where brand-fan relationships are heading. Then we went deep on Reddit, the platform that's quietly influencing your customers' buying decisions, whether you're there or not, and the growing gap brands who understand that and the ones flying blind, as Barika just mentioned.
And before we wrap this up, congratulations on episode 10. I'm so proud
Congrats.
of us.
I know.
And we love to hear thoughts. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please drop any comments, any questions, anything you want us to talk about. We would love to hear it. We love to know all the things and discuss all the things. So please let us know. Amber, I'll turn it over to you.
So everything we covered today, the shift from public social, the untracked influence of Reddit, the brands that have data that they can't interpret, those are visibility dynamics that are actively reshaping how brands are getting found, trusted, and chosen right now. And if you watch this episode and you're thinking, I don't actually know where my brand stands on any of this, that is exactly why we created the Brand Visibility Diagnostic. This full diagnostic that we do for your brand, specifically an analyst-produced report, not a self-serve tool, not AI, but an actual analyst that scores you across 6 visibility signals and gives you a personal walkthrough of where you're strong, where you're leaking, and what to fix first. So if you've ever had to explain to your leadership team why your brand isn't showing up where it should be, this report gives you the data to have that conversation. The link is in the description. So we will see you guys next month for episode 11. But in the meantime, please contact us and connect with us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at B3 Media Solutions, and on X and Blue Sky at B3 MSC. All right, guys, that's all for this episode. Thanks for joining us.